Redevelopment Commission meeting to order on this Tuesday, February 17th, 2015. It is now 4:31. Can you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence after that? Thank you. Can we have a roll call on the commissioners?
Here.
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 Here. All five are present, no absent. Okay, number 3, declaration of conflict of interest. Okay, number 4, communications. Number 5 are minutes.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes for the Hammond Redevelopment Commission for February 3rd, 2015.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on our minutes. Is there any corrections or additions or any more discussion on those? Okay, roll call on the minutes.
Yes.
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 Yes. Minutes pass 5 yes. Okay, number 6, homebound conditional forgivable loan approval. There should be 4 applicants here tonight.
Yep, we have 4 homebound conditional forgivable loan approvals. They're all present as well. Marissa, and Lewis, Tanika, and Tanner.
Welcome.
Welcome. Mr. Salazar, how did you hear about the program?
We found out about the program through the person that's selling the home to us. They told us that there was a homebound program in Hammond.
Is that an individual seller or is that a realtor?
I'm assuming he's a guy that flips houses. I mean, I thought he was a,
That's fine.
They're just
I thought he
working with
was a
one
regular
person.
person.
I think
and
he is a realtor.
He's a realtor. What's his name?
I forgot.
Mr. Whittick. His last name is Mr. Whittick. The company is called, Coham?
Now, I know a lot of them. I don't know him. Just very curious. So, Ms. Russell, how did you hear about the program?
Through my realtor,
Who's your realtor?
Luann Govert.
I know Luann. Okay. Well, let's keep going down the list here. Ms. Fernandez, I'm sorry. How did you hear about the program?
From my loan officer,
Who's your loan officer?
Ricardo Rambula,
From who?
PNC Bank.
Oh, PNC Bank.
Mm-hmm.
And see, we're not gonna leave anybody out. How about Ms. Boyle and Mr. How you pronounce his name? Burchak. How did you hear about the program?
I
You
looked it up.
Yeah. Okay. Good answer. Okay. I don't have any questions for anyone else. How about you guys?
Just a comment, I think it's good that banks and realtors are using the program to, so to help people come to Hammond. So I think it's, the word is getting out there, and I think that's good.
Mr. President, I would
Mr.
like
Mayor.
to make a motion to approve the homebound conditional forgivable loan approval for the 4 applicants.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the homebound conditional forgivable loan approval. Is there any more questions or discussions? Okay, then roll call on.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion passes 5 yes.
Congratulations to you all and welcome to Hammond.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving along, number 7, subordination request approval for Jesus Vasquez at 7544 Harrison.
Commissioners, this is for a subordination for Jesus Vasquez. His proceeds that he's taking out on his refinance, he's doing home improvements, which is pretty good, knowing that he just closed on our loan maybe about 2 years ago.
Yeah, you know, I was looking, we were discussing this a little earlier, I was just looking at the proceeds from the loan and the amounts that he had, for the home improvements. It's a little bit of funds in there, what he's gonna do with the rest of it.
Well, we were actually just talking right now regarding a furnace that he was having problems with as well. So there's some things that he's definitely gonna use the money for, and it's gonna be for his home improvements. Landscaping is on there. The lender said a fence, some cement work, remodeling of the bathroom.
Okay, okay, like I said, I just had a question and you satisfied my curiosity.
Do you guys have any questions for Jesus?
And I know he's getting a full % down on his rate as well, so that's.
Oh, no, I had no comment. I was just agreeing.
Mr. President, I'd like to move that we approve the subordination request for Mr. Jesus Vasquez regarding 7544 Harrison.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the subordination request approval for Jesus Vasquez at 7544 Harrison. We have a roll call then on that.
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion passes 5 yes.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, number 8, continuation of BMG video for economic development purposes.
Commissioners, in your packets, you have a copy of a contract that was signed in 2011 with Vesmar Media Group in the city of Hammond. It was a video that we are creating for several different purposes, one being the website. Also, when we go to places, different events that we want to have a marketing video playing in the background, it would be for that as well. We also host a few different events every year, including the Realtors Breakfast and some other economic development events throughout the year. We wanted to have this available, mainly for the website. So back in 2011, we signed a contract with Vesmar Media Group to proceed with the video using TIFF. And at the time, Vesmar, and obviously John Vesmar is here, so I'll speak to you, but at the time, John had an employee who left Vesmar Media Group, and there was some questions about who the footage belonged to, and it became tied up for a little while. Fortunately, fast forward to today, that's all been resolved. John has all the footage that was taken back then, and it's not time-sensitive footage. It's footage of, say, Lost Marsh Golf Course or downtown Hammond or Horseshoe Casino, things of that nature. And I believe from looking at invoices, we had already paid John 3 invoices, somewhere in the neighborhood of a little over $4,000. The contract, I believe, was not to exceed $10,000, although I haven't opened it again. John is ready to continue and finish the video. And so, since this commission is very different than the one that was in 2011, I think legally he's fine to continue, but I wanted him to come in and talk to you about it a little bit just to make sure everybody was up to speed.
Thanks, Phil. So you pretty much hit it on the head. And for those of you who weren't part of the commission at the time, or those that may remember this meeting, and those that may have seen videos of VMG come and go since then with different parts of the city, kind of a refresher on this video to expand on what Phil was saying was, you know, every city has a website, and we wanted to add to that, to create a piece about the city that really appeals to 3 different audiences with the small budget we had, which was those that already live here, those that are visiting here, and those that may want to consider moving here, whether it's residents or business. And as Phil mentioned, we started our project, we got your approval and blessing, and started moving forward, and an employee left, and there was just some concern, some little waves on who might own this footage, even though it was clear to us. So all that's been settled, and we're really excited about getting this started again. And again, creating a piece that isn't your cookie cutter piece that really doesn't affect the viewer when they watch it. You know, we want to create a piece, and maybe you've seen some of our stuff before, that really makes the viewer feel something, that makes them want to click share and put it on their Facebook feed and so on and so forth. And again, that is too, in how I envision it, those that currently live here, that are thinking about moving here, you know, that memories are made here every day with the progress that we've made. So whether it's a short clip of a dad at one of the skate parks with his son, or a family at one of the boardwalks that's just been built, and the business side of it, how a business might want to move here. How can we show that this, in my opinion, is one of the most small and big business-friendly administrations I'm aware of. And we're excited to move forward and get that completed for you guys. So.
I guess my first question, first of all, Mr. President, I'd like to state that I do know John. I mean, you know, from prior acquaintances. I don't think it has a bearing on what we're talking about here, but if you think I should recuse myself, I gladly will. But if not, just having coffee at his shop, I do know John. But my first question, if I may, is, was the problem with the employee legally handled? I mean, are we done with this, or can it come up again? Or
yeah, we're done with it. It wasn't necessarily the concern over the footage as much as it was the concept of the video, intellectually, rights, right? So by taking some time and adjusting this concept in my head, there's no issue. There's no issue at all how we've kind of changed the direction. But again, we've already got some footage and we can still use that. But changing the direction of this concept, I think there's no doubt in my mind we're good to go.
And the timeline going into the future would be?
So the timeline for completion of the video, which is why this is the perfect timing when I asked Phil if we could get this on the agenda, is we're moving into things are going to start thawing out soon. So, you know, we don't want to get this gray stuff. We want to get things happening at the PAV, things happening at Lost Marsh, things happening around town when it's sunny and things have thawed out. So video-wise, we'll expect production spring and summer months when the brightest things are happening in Hammond, and then we'll move into post-production in the fall, and this thing will be pretty much completed by end of fall, early winter. So.
Those are my questions. Thank you.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion for the continuation of VMG video for economic development purposes.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the continuation of VMG video for economic development purposes. We have a roll call then on that.
Soto Presley?
Yes.
Ricky?
Yes.
Navejas?
Yes.
Myrick?
Yes.
Albridge?
Yes, motion passes, 5 yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Desmar. Number 9, approval of change order number 1 for 7244-7250 Columbia Avenue.
Commissioners, as you know, we performed a demolition at the address that the President just gave. As part of that, we were to demolish the building and to basically seed the property to have grass when it was completed. An unexpected issue came up, which was that it had a basement, and I'll let John expand on that.
Good evening, Commissioners. John Blosky with Miracle Engineering. The north third of this building had a crawl space that was unknown before demolition because it was not accessible. And so there was extra foundation to remove and extra backfill to replace it. We reviewed it and we feel this is a fair number for the extra work that was performed.
this, we're done?
This is it. The job is done, yes.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion for the approval of change order number 1 for 7244-7250 Columbia Avenue.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the approval of change order number 1 for 7244-7250 Columbia Avenue. Is there any more questions or discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion passes, 5 yes.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, number 10, approval for Nancy Stolman Remax Associates to list the Lincoln Lake property.
Commissioners, you may recall at Lincoln and Lake, the city has completed construction of 3 homes. We've sold all 3 homes through Nancy Stolman. She was the realtor. She's done a great job. Actually, the first 3 homes were basically sold prior to even being completed. Well, that's the type of interest that we had. So as we've done every year, as soon as one home sells, we then started construction on the next one. We use the proceeds from that loan to start construction on the next one. So I'm asking you to approve the same contract that we've had with Nancy on all 3 other homes for the 4th home.
Can I get a kind of a quick review? This is property that we owned and we built a property on it. I should drive by, I apologize, I haven't. I don't really know the process going on here. I don't have a problem with any of this. It's a good time for me to find out.
Thank you.
Absolutely. The property itself was an old apartment complex, an old apartment building that was abandoned. The city purchased the building, and I believe that was prior to myself starting here, so it was just over 6.5 years ago. When I first came on, this was one of the first projects that I was assigned at the time. So we purchased the property. We remediated.
Excuse me, and I do apologize, but the property was for sale and we purchased it, or it was in bad shape, so we had to kind of clean it up? We don't actively look for properties to buy, do we?
Well, sometimes the city, there's all different ways that you can identify a property that we would potentially purchase and demolish. For that particular question, I can't answer because it was prior to working for the city of Hammond. I believe the property would be considered what you would consider an eyesore at Lincoln and Lake.
That was my assumption.
Yeah. So I'm making assumptions here. At the time when they purchased the property, that was the reason behind it. And they also thought that once they demolished it, they would be able to construct these new homes. And they were right. Once we knocked it down, and again, there was some remediation with the project as well. And Mr. Blosky left, but I remember his company was involved. It was the first time I had worked with Americo, actually. There was a lot of remediation because there was mastic tile and asbestos and things that need to be addressed. So once we took care of that, demoed the building, we put a plan together to construct 5 homes there. But we knew we didn't have enough money to do them all at once, so we wanted to do one at a time. And we were hoping that the first house would sell and we'd go from there. Sure enough, each home has sold pretty much prior to construction being completed. That's the market for homes in the Robertsdale area, because we don't have a lot of new home stock. A lot of the homes are older, and they're good homes, and we have there's a lot of great residents in the Robertsdale area who take a lot of pride in living in Robertsdale. And there's a lot of people that want to continue to live in Robertsdale, but they were interested in purchasing a new, potentially bigger home. So, yes, that's exactly what happened. And to date, we just finished constructing the 4th home. And hopefully, when this one sells, which I assume will be sooner than later, we can move on and finish the 5th. Once we do the 5th, this property is, there's no space available for any other home.
5 lots.
5 lots.
And then I have one more question, and I apologize for the delay here. But And it's good to hear about Ms. Stolman's success in selling them. How does a realtor, and I'm not one, so I'm not looking for a gig, get approved to be the listing agent? Do we bid this out? Is it a,
It's a great question. They get approved right here, just like we're doing right now. The redevelopment commission would bid it. How did she first get picked? At the time, we looked for the realtor that had the highest success rate of selling homes in Robertsdale. And I don't have it with me, and I don't, again, this was, gosh, 4.5 years ago that we started, but she was, and I don't want to put Commissioner Myricks on the spot because he's a realtor as well.
I know that.
Okay, but she was kind of known in the Robertsdale area for having one of the highest, I won't say she was the highest, but one of the highest success rates. The percentage was pretty much the same of any of the realtors that we would have been talking to, so we made that clear from day one, but that's how we chose her. And since then, the reason we've continued to ask for approval to keep her on is because of how successful she's been with the first 3 homes.
It's not broke, don't fix it.
Pretty much. But and Commissioner, please, anytime you have questions, don't ever feel like it. That's why I'm here. I hope to answer your questions, if I can.
I'm just trying to get up, it's the first time I've kind of seen this come up, so I apologize.
And we
Can I say something? We'd like to have Wally come to the next home when it's done, and he could do a walkthrough. There are very nice custom homes.
Oh, no, I would love to, yeah, so.
We've done that with the other homes. We actually invited commission, and not just the redevelopment commission. I think we've invited others to go through walkthroughs. And this particular home, we haven't had one, so I'll be happy to set it up. If the 5 of you, at least a few of you are interested, we could set up a walkthrough and you could take a look for yourself.
Yeah, I would enjoy it, but.
Yeah, we would love to have you come out, for sure.
So that's all my questions, and if no one else has a question, I would like to move with her continued success that we approve Ms. Stolman again for the listing of this property.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval for Nancy Stolman, Remax Associates, to list Lincoln Lake property. Is there any more discussion on that? Okay, roll call.
Soto Presley? Yes.
Espargí?
Yes.
Navejas?
Yes.
Myricks?
Yes.
Poppers?
Yes, motion passes. 5 yes.
Thank you, commissioners.
Okay, number 11, reports. Phil, you're up again, please.
Great. Mr. Westland was just mentioning how I'm very talkative this evening, so thank you. Thank you, Dave. I don't know if that was a positive or negative. I do have a couple of announcements. First, this Thursday at 4:30 p.m. is the ribbon cutting for our Planet Fitness, which is, I believe, it's Indianapolis Boulevard. It's right across from Cabela's. A lot of us refer to it as the old Kmart building. I'd love to have some commissioners come out and be involved and possibly be part of the picture of the ribbon cutting. Africa Tarver, who's here, our Director of Economic Development, will be kind of hosting the event because I'll only be able to be there for the first 15 minutes because I have another appointment. And I know the mayor will be there as well. So as we put out a press release, I believe just today, in regards to the event, at the Schererville Planet Fitness, they had pre-registration prior to the facility being open, and they had 200 people sign up prior to the Schererville location opening. In Hammond, prior to it being open, we have 1,000 people that have signed up. That's how successful this has been so far, and we foresee it obviously being more successful in the future. Schererville currently has 11,000 clients, and they had 200 people show up. So I think we're in good shape to have a great business here, and I know I've had a lot of people ask me about it. So if you can come, that'd be great. Also, there's an article actually it's going in the newspaper, I believe, today, tomorrow, but it's online right now. The City of Hammond and Mayor McDermott are partnering with Lear for a job fair. The job fair, I'm looking for the date on here, is this Thursday as well. Thank you, Africa, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Hammond Civic Center. Lear is going to be trying to fill approximately 200 new jobs, and that's with their Hammond location and their Portage location. So obviously, Lear is doing very well right now, and I believe the car industry in general, the automotive industry in general is doing very well right now. So this is good, and it's great that these types of jobs are being created, and you know, it's good for a lot of people that are looking for jobs right now.
Where did you say it was going to take place? I'm sorry.
This will be at the Hammond Civic Center, which is 5825 Soul Avenue. So again, if you could stop by and take a look at the job fair and see how it goes, we'd love to have the Redevelopment Commission be involved. And I believe that's all I have. I'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Phil, for the updates.
One more time, I'm sorry, 11 to 3?
11 to 3, correct.
Okay, we're going to move then to number 12, our bills.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to pay the Register of Claims for November 25th, 2014 through February 12th, 2015. Register of Claims R51326 through R51631. Is that right?
There's the backside. Mm-hmm.
There is.
So that'll be page 1, and you can continue.
Okay. Through R51644.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the Register of Claims. Is there any questions or discussion on these bills? Okay, then, can we have a roll call on the bills, please?
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion passes 5 yes. Number 13, new and unfinished business.
Commissioners, you were given prior to the meeting an agreement between the City of Hammond, acting by and through its Redevelopment Commission, and United Neighborhoods, Inc. I'd like to ask Mr. Radowski to come up to the podium. Let me just set him up, if you will. You may recall, and I don't remember how long ago we talked about it, but at the time that we were discussing Dennis potentially leaving the home manager position with the City of Hammond and taking over the executive director position with United Neighborhoods, Inc., one of our concerns with that with that possibility happening is Dennis has overseen our home program and our NSP program, and NSP in particular since its inception. So we were concerned that if he leaves, we're going to have trouble making sure that, trying to catch up on the knowledge and everything that Dennis has, since he's basically run the program since day one. So we actually set a meeting with HUD in Indianapolis, and we talked to them about this possibility of Dennis taking this position, and basically asking for their blessing that we could keep or use Dennis in his new position as executive director, and the CHODO, which is United Neighborhoods, Inc., to still oversee some of these same programs. Needless to say, HUD was excited about it. They know that Dennis has created a reputation for himself. In fact, our NSP program, I don't want to brag about it, but we have been in, we've been ranked in the, let's say, the top 10% in the country of funds expended, which basically means we're expending our funds as we're bringing in the program income, we're re-expending the funds on new programs, and so on and so forth. And we've done a great job with that, in particular Dennis has. So HUD signed off on this immediately. So this is the formalized agreement with it, and I don't know if Dennis, you want to add something to that?
That's the formalized agreement for?
For Hammond's Redevelopment Commission, and United Neighborhoods Incorporated as a CHODO to still oversee home funding.
I don't have any issues with that, but that's not what I thought I was here for, but yes, I agree with it. You sure that's not an agreement for a property to be rehabbed?
Oh, well, in particular, I did see that on here, that in particular, it talks about 7038 Lyman?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. So, well, I guess I wanted to give them the update on why Dennis is still overseeing with United Neighborhoods, Inc., some of our home fund projects. So that's why I meant when I'm saying I'm setting you up. Sorry.
You have 2 hats to wear, Dennis.
Well, more than 2.
Well, well, that being said, there should have been 2 agreements in your package or given to you this prior to the meeting. And what has happened, 2 things have happened almost simultaneously. We're running down on our NSP program. We only have 4 houses remaining. Unfortunately, we're in a position where we have to sell a house in order to get funds to do the next house. At that rate, we would be in NSP 1 without buying any additional houses for the next 3 or 4 years. Second point being, with United Neighborhoods, Inc., there has been a backup or a backlog of funding going back 2 years. So they have funds that they have to commit to within 2 years of the grant date. And the grant date was June of, the first one was June of 2013. So we've got till June 30th to commit X amount of dollars through our home program or lose it. That's strictly coincidental. So we met with our HUD counselor, not counselor, that's a counselor over there, our HUD expert, Bill Kubel, and what he recommended to do was to use our CHODO home dollars that we've been awarded to rehab the NSP program properties. So we took 2, 7038 Lyman and 6712 Colorado, and we are going to use our CHODO funding, which we've been approved for, to rehab those houses. When we sell those houses, we'll take the proceeds of the sales and rehab the remaining 2. We're allowed to do that. If there is an issue with any of that, and there really isn't, there's a technical issue, but not a real issue, we have to follow home guidelines. And the biggest issue that we have in following home guidelines is in the sale of the house. We have to use home guidelines for those 2 properties in regards to household income, meaning a family of 4 can earn roughly $52,000 at 80% of the area median income. With NSP, if these properties were done with NSP money, we can go up to 120% of AMI, which is roughly $74,000 a year for a family of 4. Now, that's $20,000 a year, and it might raise some eyebrows, but I can tell you as a fact, the 50-some houses, 52 houses that we have sold through the NSP programs, not one has exceeded 80% of the area median income. Even though we're allowed to go to 120%, no family has exceeded that thus far. So it may be a technical issue, but it's not a real issue. We will sell the houses to a median income family, if you will. I'm sorry, a moderate income family, if you will. So what we're looking for is to take those, again, funds from home, HUD home program, and use those to rehab an NSP property, which is permissible through the HUD regulations, guidelines.
And that would be my question. This is signed off by HUD.
Yeah, it's part of it,
So that
yes.
we're not reinventing the wheel in any way, shape, or
No, and in fact, on their quarterly reports, they have a block for what they call match funds. The funds could come from CDBG, they could come from home, they can come from outside sources, from lenders, anywhere. As long as we're able, the issue with using home dollars is that we're now restricted in the income of the buyers of those houses to 80% of area median income.
Wally, you wasn't around, but in the past, I have worked with like Lake County Development, and other entities, and as far as everyone's concerned, Dennis is the man. Dennis is the man.
I don't question that. Yeah.
So a lot of times they would go to him for guidelines, I think. So if he said it's okay, I have no doubt that it's okay. You know, you just mentioned the guy's name to some of these people, and it's like, wow, really? You know, so he's really that good at what he does. And I'm not exaggerating, he's really that good.
Not only do we read it, but we go to our consultant to confirm.
Yeah, when we went to HUD to talk to them about Dennis taking on this new role and potentially still overseeing our home funds and NSP funds, they literally were trying to steal him for a neighboring community. And I had to look at him and say, we have enough going on in Hammond that they wanted him to do more. They wanted him to expand outside of Hammond. But yeah, so great question, Commissioner. Yes, it's an allowable use, and everything that Dennis does, and you know, I won't speak for him, but myself included, overseeing the program, we always check with HUD and our HUD consultant to make sure that we're using the funds properly.
And I guess I got one more question, I apologize, but kind of a big picture question. But if we're trying to sell a house, why is there a rule, apparently not our rule, but to limit who we can sell it to by income standards? Like what if somebody, would it be so bad that somebody in an upper bracket or whatever the terminology would be would buy a home? Or is that?
Yeah, I can answer that. The reason the city of Hammond receives, that we are an entitlement community and receive HUD funding is because of our certain demographics. So because we have a certain low to moderate income population, that's the reason that Hammond qualifies for these dollars, and that's why this Indiana, of course, this is not just Hammond, there's many cities in Indiana that use these funds. But, so these particular funds, they have to be used for low to moderate income purposes, is the answer to your question. Do we want folks that make more than that to purchase homes in Hammond? Of course we do. They just wouldn't qualify for programs when these funds are involved. Right. And we've used some of our funds for other purposes. We've used them for business expansion purposes with businesses, where we can actually assist businesses with some sort of expansion. So the businesses, it gets the benefit of it, but they have to then in turn hire a low to moderate income employee. So in the end, it still benefits them, but it also benefits the business as well. So we've gotten creative, and we don't only use it, you know, it doesn't only help low to moderate income folks, but that's obviously the purpose.
I didn't mean it in that. It just seems to me if we're going to sell a home, whoever wants to buy it, we should, that I was just kind of painting with a broad stroke there, that's all. So,
sure.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So we would be looking for a motion to approve this agreement, unless there's other questions or anything that somebody may have.
So moved.
I so move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, an agreement between the City of Hammond and acting by through its Redevelopment Commission and United Neighborhoods, Inc. Is there any more questions or discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion passes 5 yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, Phil.
Welcome.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Dennis. Keep up the good work. Okay, 14, public comment. If anybody would like to come forward and speak, you have 3 minutes. Okay, public comment is closed. Number 15.
Mr. President, I make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Can you all signify by saying aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Meeting adjourned.